Today I'm going to start with the digital protection session. So your digital protection session has the following contents. The first is your computer aided protection. Why we go for a computer aided protection of the transmission line or your power sector, right? And how it is more relevant and how it is more useful in your protection of your transmission lines, right? And why we go for a computer aided protection rather than an regular electromechanical relay protection. Okay, so apart from this, you also have a session on your block diagram of numerical relays. Then you'll also be learning on the distance protection of your transmission lines, right? And you have apart from your distance protection of transmission lines, under this digital protection of transmission lines, we have your impedance protection. Okay, then we have our admittance protection uh, of your transmission line. So there are different distance protection types, so we will look into that one by one, right? Then you have also to study on the overcurrent relays and your overload relays, right? So these are the topics which I am going to cover in the unit 4 under digital protection. So today let's take up why we need to go for numerical relays instead of your electromechanical relays, and what are the different types of distance protection used for your transmission lines, right? So coming to the next uh, yeah, so let me explain to you why we go for, or why we recommend a numerical relay instead of an electromechanical relay. Okay, so as you all know, what is a function of a relay? A relay is nothing but it is going to sense there is a faulty condition and it is going to give a signal to your circuit breaker, and your circuit breaker is going to be enabled, and it is going to disconnect your main circuit, okay, from the faulty circuit. Or you can say the circuit breaker is going to break the connection between the healthy circuit and the faulty circuit. Okay, so we are using a number of relays, right? But most of the relays, if you take your electromechanical relays, these kind of relays are not reliable, right? It is not reliable because it is going to use mechanical parts. It works in mechanical parts such as springs, and their appropriate tensions has to be maintained. The strain on the strain which is given on the springs has to be maintained. Okay, and then also it is which are temperature dependent for giving protection trip accuracy. That means depending upon the spring operation, your relay will be open or it will be closed, right? So when such a process is happening, and if your springs or your mechanical part is not uh, giving the accurate signal or accurate tension to the springs, definitely the protection, the relay will not trip. The circuit breaker will not trip, because the relay will give a delayed message to the circuit breaker. Okay, so also in electromechanical relays, we need to have it periodically checked. Okay, it has to be continuously checked for cleaning the different parts of your electromechanical relay, right? It needs to be periodically removed, cleaned, and need to do the spring adjustments. That is, maybe your value is shown to some value, okay, and the spring adjustments has to be changed so that it can be resetted from the beginning. Okay, so there are so many constraints when you come to your electromechanical relay, like how we just discussed now. So it is temperature dependent, and you need to find what is the tensions which you're going to give on the springs, and the spring action should take place in a normal manner, okay, without any wear and tear of the springs. Okay, there should not be any frictional issues with respect to the springs and the mechanical parts which are inbuilt in your numerical relays. Okay, so your electromechanical relays. So to come across, to eliminate or to overcome all these difficulties faced in your electromechanical relay, we can go for your numerical relay. Okay, we can go for your numerical relay. Now what exactly is your numerical relay? Numerical relay is actually having a processor. Okay, it will have an inbuilt processor. Okay, and you can design, or you can design the processor, and the software can be inbuilt into the processor, right? So your numerical relay can eliminate the issues which we are facing when you use a electromechanical relay. Okay, so it can eliminate the issues which we are going to use when we are using a electromechanical relay. Okay, so why? The first main thing is there are no moving parts. Okay, there are no moving parts in your numerical relay, because you're having a processor and all the process will be controlled under a single processor. Okay, and there is no moving parts, and there will not be any wear and tear of your springs and your mechanical parts as in case of your electromechanical relay. And also you can set the tripping timings to a pre-defined value, or you can set to a threshold value. Okay, so all your IDMT timings and high set tripping timings are embedded with the software based CPU. Okay, you can give it to the processor. So what is this IDMT timings? It is nothing but inverse definite minimum time. That is the time required for the relay to operate. Okay, now if the relay has to operate, first of all we need to know what is the limit of current. Okay, limit of current after which the relay has to operate. Okay, after which the relay has to operate. So we need to know the time, right? So we know that if, for example, let us take that if you have a 10 ampere current. Okay, and if the machine is operating beyond the 10 amperes, maybe for around 18 amperes or 20 amperes. Okay, at that time what should you do? Immediately the relay has to trip off. Okay, the relay has to give a signal to the circuit breaker so that the disconnection takes place immediately within fraction of seconds, right? Within fraction of seconds it has to be removed, right? It has to be isolated, or the healthy part of the circuit should be isolated from the faulty part. So what does IDMT timing set means is nothing but, for as your current increases, as your current value increases, that is if your current is overloading, that is if it is beyond the rated value or the fixed value given in the domain, if it is going beyond that, that means, like I told you, if we are having a rated current of 10 amps, and if the motor is exceeding the rated current and it is going to operate under 18 or 20 amps, so what happens is, as the current value is increasing, your tripping time should be very fast, right? Your faulty conditioned circuit should be isolated immediately, so your action should be faster, and these actions cannot be faster when in case of an electromechanical relay. But if you take a numerical relay, these actions can be faster because of the processor speed. Okay, because the time taken for the processor to do such kind of calculations is faster when compared to your electromechanical relays. Okay, so your accuracy can also be increased when you go for a numerical relay. Okay, and when you take the servicing point of view of your numerical relay, your numerical relay has need not have a service on a very frequent basis. Okay, it need not be done under a frequent basis. So you can actually do it for yearly once, or maybe 6 to 8 months once. So you can have a specific period of time for it to get serviced and to do the adjustments. So every time the relay operates, you need not go and again do the adjustments so that the relay has been resetted. It can be done only when it is required. Okay, so those kind of advantages your numerical relay has, right? So this is the architecture of your numerical relay. So you have a processor here, right? And before the processor is going to process, first it has to convert the analog signals into your digital, because the processor can understand only the binary values, right? That is your zeros and ones. So definitely the input which we are getting, the current or the voltage value which we are getting from the source is going to be analog, because it is a continuous, it is going to vary with respect to time, and it is continuous in operation. So this analog value has to be converted to digital value. So this analog to digital conversion can be taken place by using this converter, and then it is fed to your processor. Okay. So the processor is going to do the required process, and then your output is being obtained, right? So if you see, let me just zoom it. Okay. So a numerical relay can be made to run a program which periodically performs a self-diagnostic test. Okay, and it issues an alarm in case of any discrepancies. So if there is any case of discrepancy, it can give you some alarm signal, right? So this is one advantage of using your numerical relay, right? So the numerical relay, see, the analog signals available from the current transformers and potential transformers, okay, can be converted into your digital format. Okay, the signal does not contain frequency components having frequency greater than 1/2 of the sampling frequency, right? So we'll come to that in the second part, but the first thing is your analog signals will be converted into digital. Okay, and then it has to be sampled. The analog signal next is sampled, and then it is held constant during the time. Okay, to maintain the range of frequencies which we are getting, we need to have the sample and hold circuit. Okay, we need to have the sample and hold circuit, right? So then, to accommodate the large number of input signals, the sample and held value is passed to the ADC, that is an analog to digital signal, through a multiplexer, right? So first we are going to do the analog to digital conversion. Then, to maintain the frequency samples, we are going to have a sample and hold circuit. Okay, these range of frequency can be handled by the ADC. That means these frequency samples, if it is too low, it is fine. Okay, it can be handled. But if the range of the frequencies are low, it's fine. But if the range of the frequencies are high, then you will have to have this sample and hold circuit. Okay, and then to accommodate this large number of input signals, the sampled and held values is passed to the ADC through a multiplexer. So you are going to have a multiplexer as well. Then the microcontroller controls the sample and hold circuit. Okay, so the instantaneous values of digital signals from ADC is given to the processor. That means your ADC is going to process the signal, and that signals are fed to your processor, okay, to the microprocessor. So how it is being fed? It is fed through an input port. Okay, so so the input port, if you take if the to get a greater resolution, okay, to get a greater resolution, you need to have the ADC output, that is your analog to digital output, should be wider, right? So it should be wider. So once the processor has gets digital values from the ADC, and the process and it gets processed by the relay software in accordance with the underlying relaying algorithm. So some algorithms are put, right? So some algorithms are written, and it is being converted to high level language understood by the processor, and it is being given to this, and hence your processor is going to process that particular algorithm. Okay, so this is your how your numerical relay will act using a processor, how your microprocessor is getting in with your numerical relays. Okay, so this is about your so if you see here, this is just going to display the values and Alright, so this is of course for the microprocessor you need to have a power supply. Okay, and this is your common port here, and these are your output ports, and these are your inputs right here. Okay, so these are just the differences in your electromechanical and numerical relays, which so your electromechanical relays, for each phase you need to have one relay, but whereas in numerical relay it's not so. All the phases together will have one particular operation to be done. Okay, so only one single input is sufficient, right? But here for electromechanical relays you need to have separate individual phases, fine. And of course if there are separate individual phases, what will individual relays for each phase, what happened to the panel? The panel size keeps on increasing. Okay, so it consumes, of course then it consumes more space. So when it comes to numerical relays, all numerical relays are compact in size, and hence it is taking only a small space, right? And the size, so the third point also says that the numerical relay is 20% in size with the electromechanical relays of same functionality. It functions the same, but the size of this numerical relay is going to be very less. So depending upon the memory. Okay, so coming to the memory, so if you take the memory here, in mechanical relays you cannot record anything. Okay, the previous faulty conditions cannot be recorded, your actual fault current value cannot be recorded, timing of it cannot be recorded. So when such a thing happens, you cannot actually analyze or diagnose what was the fault before and how long the fault was in existence. Okay, but in case of numerical relays we have memories, and you can store the events and last 5 faults with along with date and time. Okay, and also you can analyze the design, the fault pattern. The fault pattern can be analyzed. Okay, so this is just a small picture of your numerical relay, and these are the features of this particular numerical relay, right? So this is distance protection. I think distance protection we can go for the next video. So I'll just summarize. Your numerical relay plays a major role in your protection of your transmission line. Okay, so and for distance protection, right, it's going to be a very advantaged relay. Okay, so the main reason is it can operate with no mechanical parts. There will not be any wear and tear, and hence your relay can be you can set wide values of ranges of the current or voltage. Okay, and it can also be used for your IDMT characteristics. That is to find out what is your inverse definite mean minimum time required for the relay to operate, right? And you can also study the characteristics of your relay. Okay, it can study the characteristics, for this fault diagnosis characteristics can be studied in your numerical relay. Okay, and also you can find out whether the sequence of your phase voltages are going in in the right manner, or whether it is going to have a negative sequence operation. Okay, and also you can find out whether the relays are whether the three phases, all the three phases are finding in the same fault, or whether it is a fault from any particular phase. Okay, so that's all about your numerical relays. Thank you.